I'm gonna have, oh, hello. Gonna have my pillow with me in this video because I feel like it's gonna be one of those videos where it's like, let's get comfy. Hey beautiful people, how's it all going? Hope you're all doing amazingly well. Today I've got a bit of a different video. It's my uni experience so far. So this is going back to when I first started university, probably, when was it, 2-3 years ago now? Actually, maybe it was longer than that. 3-4 years ago now. And then also the uni that I'm doing at the minute. I'm just about to head into third year, which is very exciting. I just thought I'd share my experience so far with it and what it's done for me. There's going to be, different things that I'm going to be talking about. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Might be quite long because it's quite, a long story, but I just thought, seeing as it's the time of year where everybody's starting university, you're either going back or you've had those uni experiences, or if you're thinking about going to university, this is just my personal experience, things that I've gone through. So this is going to be kind of like a story time in a way, but it might not go into too much depth, we'll see. I'm going to keep everything confidential, so names, places that I went to, I just want to keep it like just as my experience and story, like me, myself and I. So before I started university the first time, I was working full-time. I think I was in my second year at my full-time job. Even though it was great, I felt like I wanted to do more with my life. I decided that I wanted to try paediatric nursing. It's something that I was interested in for quite a while and I really wanted to give it a go. So I applied, I did my personal statement and all the things involved and chose the universities that I wanted to go to. So I went to 2 locations. The first interview that I went to, it was about 2.5 hours away and it was okay, but I just felt a bit like I was a bit stupid, like I was made to feel stupid. So what they did in that interview process is they gave us all a scenario and I was looking after an elderly lady and you basically had to do like a role play scenario, which was interesting, and then moved on to the actual interview where somebody would ask you questions and whatnot. And I was a bit nervous. It was my first ever university interview, as you can imagine. You'd be feeling all the nerves and whatnot. And the woman who interviewed me was quite, like, she was looking at me as if I was like some kind of idiot. I would be saying something and she would be like doing that face and that gesture as if to say like, obviously you're missing something. And I just felt a bit like, I came away from that thinking, yeah, I really don't want to go to uni here. It wasn't the best kind of interview process. So the next one I went to, I had to prep for a presentation and also had the interview after that. On the day, I think their projector wasn't working or something like that, so we didn't need to do that in the end, which was, fine. There was quite a lot of us in the room at the time and we were called in one at a time to be interviewed by 3 different people. I think one was a nurse and the other 2 were lecturers at the university, and they just asked us different questions in relation to the subject. So I did that. I came away from that feeling really, really good. And then I can't remember how long it was after, but I got accepted and I was able to go to university there, which is great because it was the interview that I went to that I felt really amazing and great at and felt really positive about. So when I heard that, I thought, that was amazing. So I had months to prepare and sort out everything. So if you've done student nursing before, whether it's mental health, adult or paediatric, I don't know how it works with other universities, but with my one, we had to be placed in student accommodation, which meant that we weren't living in halls. We had to be in our placement location near to a hospital, because obviously when you're doing not just day shifts but night shifts, it's just easier for you to just be living around the corner to go to so that you're not driving home and whatnot. Within my location, they didn't do a paediatric centre within the hospital. We had to go to a different location and it was between 4. And I think I got the second nearest to my place of study, which wasn't too bad. It was about a 15-minute drive there and back, which was quite tiring in the end, but it wasn't too bad, and the location was really nice, and that was fine. Me and my parents went down there one day just to check it out and see what it would be like, and it looked really nice. I had to put a deposit down for the living situation, so that would secure my room, which was exciting and whatnot. And the nerves were building up over the months, and I got into contact with people that would be in the same accommodation as me, so either living next door or just in that same complex. And it was really nice because you just had that security of getting to know people beforehand, so you had an idea of who they were before you went down to live with them, which was really great. So that went on for probably a few months before, obviously organising all the fresher stuff and all the parties that you'd be going to. And then came the day before move day. As you can imagine, I was really nervous. I'm quite a homely girl, so the fact that I was going to be living away from my family, even though it wasn't that far, it was quite a big thing for me. The day before move day, I got an email from the accommodation officer, and she told me that because they didn't have any more places left in that accommodation complex, they were going to have to move me to a different one. Even though it was just like, a 2-3 minute walk just around the corner, it meant that I was going to be living on my own with nobody that I had been chatting to for a while. Like, none of the people that I had been talking to, I wasn't going to be living with any of them. Even though I had placed my deposit months before, that's what I got told the day before I was moving down. And that just completely threw me. I just thought, like, why is this happening? Like, I've done all this stuff and just, so yeah, that wasn't fun. So I went down there that weekend. My mum stayed with me on the Saturday, and then she went back with my dad on the Sunday whilst we got everything moved into that one accommodation. And it was just me living in the house on my own, which, if you're somebody that has always lived with your parents, you've always got people around you, and you don't like your own company. Back then I didn't like my own company. It was one of the most awful things to have ever gone through. And that really started off my uni experience in not a great way. I wasn't happy at all. Everything was new place, new people, new town, new life, pretty much. And it didn't start off on the best terms. But it wasn't anything to do with me, it was all to do with accommodation, but it was just so frustrating. Like, that was the last thing that I needed before starting something new. Luckily, it was only about maybe about a week and a half that I was living there, and then I got moved into accommodation, which apparently there was a room there the whole time. So I didn't understand at all. But I was moved in, it was fine. I got to know the people that I lived with more. There was, all of us in different houses. Some of us were doing pediatric nursing, some of us were doing adult, and some of us were doing mental health. So it was quite a nice mixture, and we all got to know each other. A few of us went to the fresher parties, which were quite good. We all became quite good friends quite quickly, which was really nice, to have that bond and, have people that you really connected with and, you could share that experience with. That was really good. And then we had a Halloween party in the October, obviously. And that was when a couple of the houses divided a bit. Also, I won't get into what actually happened. That's like for another story time. People were like siding with other people and whatnot. There wasn't that group anymore, so it was a bit difficult to do that. So it was adjusting to that. It was adjusting to the homesickness. I was getting homesick quite a lot. I remember the first part of that year, I was a month away, and then I went back for my birthday and then came back, and it was really hard to come back to that. Like, I felt so devastated to be coming back. But then I just had to remember what I was doing and what I was doing all this for. So the first few months of uni, we were just strictly at uni. We didn't start placement until the January. And that was really nice because I met more people on my course, lots of lovely ladies who were really lovely. And, again, we were all going through this together and, prepping all the stuff. So we had like exams to do each week, coursework and whatnot. And again, we all gelled quite quickly, which was really, really nice. And the day we got the nursing uniform, the student nursing uniform, was amazing. The day I put that on, I just felt like this is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing this. And I absolutely loved it. After the few months and after Christmas, we all came back and started placement. And as you would be, like anybody would be. I was really nervous, and I'm quite an introvert, so I'm not the most outspoken person when you first get to know me. And it's really hard for me to make conversation sometimes. That's just the type of person I am. It was really difficult. It was really difficult because you were basically thrown in at the deep end. But, I didn't know where I was from this day to the other, like what I was doing. I felt really lost, even as the few weeks went on, when I got a bit more used to it and looking after the patients and, helping and that. It felt like a lot of pressure to start with, like a lot of pressure, which I know they want you to experience, and I know they want you to learn quickly, because that's what a life of nursing is all about, which I understand. But the first couple of months were really hard, like really difficult. And with everything else that was going on, my living situation and friendships and feeling homesick and all that stuff, it was a lot to really take in, and it left me feeling really down, like really down, like the worst I've felt ever. It and again, that's another story time, but to briefly talk about it, I wasn't in the greatest place. It was the worst place I'd ever been in my entire life, and I felt so low. I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know what to do. I mean, in the end, I went back home for a few days, and I didn't want to go back. I really didn't want to go back. I was at the point where I had this horrible feeling in my stomach, and I just felt sick and worried, and I was just like, I just don't think I can do this anymore. It really took me to get into that low place to really think, what was it that I wanted for myself, and that was it. I just couldn't do it anymore. Sometimes you have to try things out and do things to really figure out for yourself if it's something that you really want. And in the end, even though I loved working with the patients and I loved that side of things and making a difference, there were parts of nursing behind the scenes that you don't see. And I didn't like those parts at all. They were horrific. Night shifts I really struggled with as well. I just felt so tired. And it just came down to, was this really worth it? And in the end, it wasn't. It just wasn't worth it. So told my parents, and they were more than happy with my decision. They knew that I was struggling and that I wasn't gaining out of it what I should have been. And I think they were just more so concerned about me continuing with it and also starting again, because obviously I had to basically start afresh and find a job and find out, what I wanted to do. And even though it was scary, it was what I needed to do, because it gave me that break of, do I want to go back into study, but in a different subject of things and in a different scenario. And that's exactly what I did. I was working full time, and I thought, I want more for myself. So I looked into a course that was in my local town, which was amazing, which means I could just travel there and back and I don't need to live anywhere else. And it was in something that I was working in, which was even better. This time round, it felt so much better. Like, it felt, this is what I needed to do. This is the subjects that I need to be in. And it was amazing. Had the first interview and it all went fine. They told me on the day that I got it, and that I'd be starting, in the next couple of weeks, which was great. I met new people, and again, we all gelled really quickly. But what was really nice about this is that it was all different ages, and we were all working in similar environments. And even though we still had placement and we had university, it was just a nice environment. Like, something just clicked with that one, and I just haven't looked back since. I've absolutely loved it, and the fact that I'm going into third year now, and that hopefully we'll be coming out with a bachelor's, is amazing. Yeah, just something just clicked this time around. I don't know what it was. I think it was just the fact that I didn't have any of this ag that I had in my first university experience. And I've met some really lovely people. I've really felt like my worth was more justified in this experience than it was in the previous one. I felt a bit more like, even though there's a load of us, I still felt valued. Whereas in my last university place, I think because obviously it was a lot bigger and there's a lot more going on and a lot more people, I think you don't really get that attention as much, which is what we all need, really, especially when we're starting something and doing something so serious and something that's going to be impacting our future. I think we all need that individual attention a bit more. Something that stuck with me from my last university was when the day I told my tutor that I was going, I had a meeting and had to sign a couple of things just to say that I agreed with everything. And she told me that, you know, even though I was going away from study, I needed to find something else to study because it would be such a shame for me to waste what I've got, because she felt like I was somebody that needed to study, that needed to be in study and to grow and do more things. And for me, that was amazing. Like, it was really nice to hear that. She was quite an abrupt woman and she would just say it how it is, you know, she wouldn't hold back. But the fact that she said that to me was really, really nice and really reassuring. And that's exactly what I did. And yeah, I've never looked back. I've really loved my university journey this time round. I've definitely felt more capable of things, calm about things, you know, tackling things a bit more. And even though there was a lot that went on in my first university experience that I will take you through, it's a lot, like from the experiences that I had in that first university, that was a lot, and I'm going to do story times on those because I think it would be really beneficial. This transition just felt a lot smoother and I absolutely love it, and I'm just thankful that I've got this, you know, brain of mine to really learn, because that's the type of person I am. I love learning new things. I love finding out about things and, you know, why one person says this and another person says that. Like, I've always been quite interested in that type of thing. And, you know, this year especially, I'm ready to get it done. I'm ready to really get my head down and really make this happen for myself. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So thank you for listening. I know it's been quite a long video to do, but you know, because it's that time of year where university's starting and everything's happening, you know, I think for me at the time, I would have loved to have heard people's experiences and, you know, what they've been through, and, you know, really take from those stories like what I could for myself. So yeah, I will be doing story times on my university journey, just because a lot came into those aspects and like why I left and everything. Yeah, they will be coming shortly, and for now I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a massive thumbs up if you did, and if you'd like to hear any more story times, just let me know down below, and I will see you in my next video. Take care.